Hello, everybody, and welcome to Movie Couple Live, the show where we talk about the latest in movie news and pop culture. I'm Wendy.
I'm Dustin.
And happy Saturday. Yes,
Yes, it is Saturday.
You guys. Welcome to today's show. We are talking a little bit of breaking news, sort of breaking news. It really broke yesterday about Guy Ritchie directing the live-action Hercules for Disney.
And we're also going to be talking spoiler talks, or our spoiler discussion for Miss Marvel and for Obi-Wan Kenobi Episode 5.
Yes. Guys, Miss Marvel, Obi-Wan, spoilers today, spoilers Saturdays. That's what we're here for. But of course, we have to start off with this little piece of breaking news. And before anything else, thank you guys for being here. Hope your weekend is off to a great start. What are you planning to do? Are you okay?
Yep, for some reason it wasn't going up on my phone.
Got it. Are we okay now?
Yep, we're good.
I'm distracted. Okay. Black Loki is in the chat. Star Drew is in the chat. MK, Steve, Nick, Marvin Martin, Sean, Debbie, Ricardo, hello, Blade. Everybody in the chat today. Welcome, welcome, welcome. As you guys can see, we do have a new shirts.
And we also have
new stickers.
New stickers. Dun, 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 dun.
They're available now in our shop, which is linked in the description if you guys would like to go and check it out. You can get the stickers, and we have two different logos. This is, we call it like the OG logo, and this was designed for us by Drew. Drew by Daylight is the name that I think his like handle on Instagrams. Thank you so much to Drew for creating this awesome logo that you basically see like right here and there.
Pretty much almost everywhere you see the Movie Couple logo,
yes.
That's because of Drew. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I hear some super chats coming through, so we're going to go ahead and get to them.
Yes!
Before we get into the Guy Ritchie news. First one, as always, comes from Marvin Martin. Thank you so much,
Marvin!
Marvin writes, what ancient myth would you adapt? Any movie Disney should adapt / leave alone? If you could go the distance with anything in your life. Ooh, great questions. Let's tackle the first one, and that is, what ancient myth would you adapt?
I actually now have to go back and refresh my memory on my ancient Greek myths. Mm-hmm. So it's a little kind of like, I'm kind of like, I mean, the first one that comes to mind is like Jason and the Argonauts, because that was a really cool story, kind of like a Odyssey story.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't mind seeing that again. They tried to do Clash of the Titans, but the remake wasn't that good.
Yeah.
So probably trying to go with more of like Jason and the Argonauts kind of a storyline again.
Okay.
I think that would be fun to see. But well, what would you think? What are some of the ones that you would like to see?
I would like to see, there's a lot of stories that I grew up with that technically have already been adapted into, media of one way or some sort of another. Mostly, I think it's based in East Asian media, in television shows, and in movies there. But I would like to see kind of like a U.S. adaptation to it, just like as in it would be released here. And again, I think they've done it before, but to have studios like maybe Illumination or DreamWorks or Disney to do it, or even Sony, like I think that would be pretty cool. One of the ones I think that would be, because it's a story that some people already know, but it's of the, I guess we can call him the Monkey King, Sun Wukong.
Oh yeah.
Because there can be a lot of action in there, really cool, fight sequences. There is lots of different characters, so like if you want to think about advertising and character posters and merch and stuff like that, that's a really, really good one. And another one is, I don't know like the exact English American name, but there's a legend about the snakes. There's a white snake, a sorcerer, or sorceress, yes, and a green snake. So there's also that mythology. And then like a super cute one about like the Chinese New Year, Lunar New Year stuff. There's a lot of different little folklore tales about like the mice getting married. That's why like, as kids, like we would have to go to bed early on New Year's because like, the mice are afraid of the humans, and but they were having a wedding, so we have to go to bed early in order to not disrupt their procession of the wedding. Like there's a lot of little things, but I would like to see those adapted.
And you know what? Honestly, I would love to see some of the different cultures,
Yes.
ancient mythology to be adapted to. Because there's a lot out there that I've never heard of before in my life. I do like some of the recommendations that are coming into the chat.
Yes.
I love seeing, Star Drew has, say, like Pompeii would be a very interesting one. And, of course, the 300, The Last Stand of the 300.
Yes.
But we got such a good adaptation of that. Who did that? Who originally did that one?
Frank Miller. Snyder.
The Snyder did that. So I would, I think redoing it again, you could pull it off, but I really think you should try to take a different style tone to it. Because if you're not going to change anything up, why just tell the exact same story the exact same way?
Right, like we've seen it.
Yeah. You have to find something new to tell with these stories. So unless you have that, I would say leave it alone for now. So, but what is it? Yeah, the 300, the Three Musketeers. The thing is, the Three Musketeers have been done to death. Yeah. I mean, there's been some really good Three Musketeers
What's the one
stories.
that we like with Chris O'Donnell?
Oh, with Oliver Platt. And with Tim Curry.
Yes.
However,
as the Cardinal, right? He was the Cardinal.
I remember I loved that movie when it first came out. I was like, oh, this is amazing. I love it. It's fun. I went back and watched it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, everything they're saying is a one-liner. And the only one that was really able to pull off every single one-liner he had was Tim Curry. And
it's Tim Curry.
Yeah, he pulls off.
There was another
that
character. Isn't it the Oliver Platt character?
Yeah, and then Porthos.
Yes, I think he did a really...
Porthos the pirate. Ah! Pirate? I told you I was famous.
Oh man, gosh.
But yeah, I love when it first came. I have to go back and watch that now.
Yeah.
And I'm really curious on what a modern day telling of the Three Musketeers would be like, because there's been a couple of them that have just kind of had like big hype and then just hit rock. They just did terrible at the theaters.
When you say modern, do you mean no longer a period piece?
No, it'd still be a period, but a modern. I think because you have to do something completely new with it.
I just feel like maybe it's because I'm kind of stuck on, like, when I think Three Musketeers, I think rapier, sword fight choreography, and I really don't want to see it without that. I think that's what makes that is like an essential part of a Three Musketeers movie, is the sword fight. And
I think it's going to be really hard to try and find an ancient mythology that is popular that hasn't already been done. Because, those are the first stories that a lot of people would be like, hey, you know what, let's do a retelling of something. They're the ones that have already had a retelling so many times.
Yes. Here's a good one, and we know it's also been done before, but Marvin Martin says 1001 Nights.
Oh, yeah. And there are a ton of different stories.
There's tons of stories in there, yeah.
I mean, Aladdin is just the most well-known.
Yes.
So, but I mean, I guess they're kind of doing that with 3,000 Years of Longing. That's kind of a retelling of that story.
I can't wait to see that movie. That trailer was bananas. Yeah. So a lot of good suggestions in the chat. But Marvin also had a two-part question. So the other part of the question is, if you could go the distance, right before we talk about Hercules, the live action, with anything in your life, go the distance.
With anything in my life? I don't know. I mean, is there anything for you? I mean, a part of me is kind of like, I like my life.
Yeah, I feel like I am finally on, like, the path that I have wanted to be on, and I think during the pandemic, a lot of doors closed, and this one opened, as in it allowed me to put all of my time and energy into kind of what we're doing here, and other, small things like collaborating with other fellow creators, and continuing to review movies, but on our own platform, has been really cool. So I think I would just want to continue on that trajectory.
So let's go the distance, movie couple, and really
find my way.
And find our way on our YouTube path.
I can go the distance.
Now, we do have one more super chat from Chris Mendez.
Hey, Chris.
Spider Chris, how's it going?
Spider Chris's choice. Chris writes, okay, with that live-action Hercules coming out, who do you cast if it were up to you as Hercules, Hades, Meg, and Phil?
So, okay, let's just actually just dive on in.
Yeah, let's
to
go ahead
this
and
topic.
So I
and
guess
we will get to this.
Okay, so hold your question. Well, I guess not hold your question because we already read it, but to give you guys a little bit of insight, Deadline was the first to come out with this exclusive, I believe, and it looks like Guy Ritchie has teamed with not just Disney, but also with the Russo brothers production company, AGBO, for the upcoming live-action remake of Hercules. So he is going to be directing this. Is this going to be... It's interesting, though. I will say the caveat, in the Deadline article, it says, like, the language is very specific. I don't think I read anywhere that it says he's going to direct, but it also makes sense that he would direct, because he is a director. Aladdin was his first film, and that grossed over $1 million.
Yeah.
So, like, that's pretty...
Well, over
a billion. Over a billion.
Going, $1 million.
I was like, wait.
$1 billion.
$1 billion. So, in the Deadline article, they were specific to, like, they didn't use direct. It says that he's going to oversee. But every other article that I've read, and especially for the Hollywood Reporter saying that they confirmed this, that he is going to be directing it, and it's going to be a remake based off the 1997 animated film that we all know and love, Hercules. So, for some of the people that are on board, Dave Callahan, who wrote Marvel's Shang-Chi and has penned the first draft of the script. However, the studio is still in the process of finding writers for the project, and we already kind of said what we said about AGBO. That is Joe and Anthony Russo's production company that's produced movies such as Extraction, Everything Everywhere All at Once, 21 Bridges, Cherry, and there's other stuff that I know. Oh, The Gray Man.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That's hasn't come out yet, but that is one of them. So that is the latest. Those are kind of the bullet points for Guy Ritchie's Hercules. So let's take a look at, I'm also wanting to take a look at some of his filmography as far as director goes. He's directed, obviously, a ton of films. I see on his IMDb, pre-Aladdin, The Man from U.N.C.L.E., which I really liked. There's King Arthur, Legend of the Sword. Sherlock Holmes, A Game of Shadows, and the other Sherlock Holmes.
Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels.
Yes.
So, I mean, he has quite the filmography.
Oh, yeah.
I'm kind of curious on what direction they are going to take with this. I mean, because I have my idea that I've been trying to push to Disney for quite a while. I want this to kind of be like the show within the show. Okay, so work with me here. This is my idea of what I think a live-action Hercules should be. Okay. You kind of start off with this big city shot of ancient Greece, and it's kind of slowly zooms in to this big theater,
like an amphitheater,
kind of like an amphitheater or a Colosseum style of setting. And as they kind of pan in, they start seeing big crowds gathering around this stage, and this show just starting to begin. Or you see like the we are talking about, and like the announcer coming out and talking about the show,
like an actor's playhouse,
just like in the cartoon Hercules. One of the most heroic figures is the legendary Hercules. And then you kind of have the girls come out, and then they start singing. And as they start singing, you kind of pan into the audience. Wow, this is amazing. And then you pan back like you're looking through their eyes. And then you can shift the reality of it to where it seems more real. It seems more or you're actually in the world of the music. They're in more vibrant costumes. They look more realistic. And then you have this realistic setting of them telling the story of Hercules.
Yeah.
And so you can have this breaking of the fourth wall every now and again. And I would love to see...
Girl, you mean Hercules.
Yeah. And so you can still have them just being very tongue-in-cheek, but then back into the real world. Back into the story. And you can have this reality of telling a show in like real-life Greece. But then you also have the theatrical, what is it called? The film, what is it called? But very film-like theatrical version of it, of the audience experiencing the story that they are telling. And I would love to see, like, for example, when they do introduce Phil, they have like a CGI version of it, but you do see for like when they do break the fourth wall, you see Danny DeVito in this kind of bad satyr costume
Not
on
a
stage.
bad, but like a costume, like a Playhouse costume.
Yeah, Playhouse costume, and cracking some of his, I've got like a fur wedgie
Oh my
that he
God.
has in there, and it's in that moment that you see Danny DeVito as the
Phil.
satyr, but then it goes back to the CGI version,
And he would just voice.
and then he does like just the voice.
That's interesting.
And I think it would be hilarious because then I wanted to see this a little bit kind of like a Disney version of Deadpool, to where they do break the fourth wall every now and again. They know that they're in a show,
but not with that kind of humor.
but not with that
Okay.
kind of humor.
Just wanted to make that clear.
So to where it's very tongue in cheek, very fun. You're just going for the soul of just the reason why people go to the theater is to have fun and to be told these fantastical tales. And that's kind of the way that I would go. But seeing how it's Guy Ritchie, I don't think they're gonna go that route.
You don't know that. You don't know that.
Oh no, very
Why
true.
not? You know?
I said that's why I said I think they're not gonna go that route. I think they'll go with the full on, like film version of it. What am I saying? Kind of.
I don't know.
I don't know what I'm saying, but to where it doesn't really break the fourth wall.
You think it'll be...
I would love to see them break the fourth wall.
They could. We don't know in what direction they're going to take it. This is kind of really early in development. Like, they barely just, released publicly that it's going to be Guy Ritchie and he's teaming with AGBO on this. We don't even have, like, a team of writers yet. They don't have... I mean, maybe they have a list behind the scenes that we are not privy to. But, so far, no short list, long list of actors, actresses, whoever that they're looking at to cast has even been released. So this is like super early in development. But I do like your idea. I think that makes it a little bit different than how the movie starts, where it's the vase and then that comes to life with the muses. What I really, really would like, and if they do the Playhouse, we're kind of like you say, if they start off that way, like, let me tell you the tale of Hercules, and they are still the muses, but they're like actresses of the Playhouse, and they get to narrate and take the audience through the story and through the arcs, and they kind of sometimes they'll break through their storytelling to bring us back to the theater to have their little conversations and back and forth, and I think that'd be really cute, back and forth, and that will make it not an exact copy for copy of the animated version of Hercules. So I like that. Look, my criterias for this, what I really want, I need the muses in it, and I need the songs to stay in it.
Oh yeah, those songs are just so much fun.
If they want to go without songs, then it has to be an entirely different kind of a tone, a little bit more grown up, a little bit grittier, a lot more like like fantasy battle. Like,
yeah.
Hercules doing Hercules things. But the songs are so good. How many times in the car randomly that we just play the Hercules soundtrack? Like, the song
Zero
slap.
to Hero.
Yeah, so we will see which route they go, and again, it's really, really early. Let's go to the chat and see what you guys are kind of saying about Hercules. Yes.
Well, before that, who would you cast in some of these roles? I would love to keep Danny DeVito as Phil, just so you could have that one quick instance of going back to the stage and you see Danny DeVito in his costume just for a little bit, and then coming back out, and then it's back to because it's probably going to be a CGI Phil.
Most likely.
Kind of like what
Pain and Panic would also be CGI.
Yeah. So I would love to keep a lot of the original cast. I think Hercules, I would love to see. What are you doing, dog?
Navi
All of a sudden, Navi just went, Nyom. But the guy who played in the newest version of Power Rangers as the Red Ranger, I can't remember the actor's name. Do you remember his name, hun? Dacre Montgomery. I think he would kind of play a pretty good...
Billy?
Yeah, Billy.
Yeah.
I think he would play a really good young, like that kind of innocent Hercules at the beginning. I think he would be really fun as Hercules.
How old? Debbie asks a great question. For the casting, it really depends on how old they want to go for Hercules. So how old is Hercules in the story?
I think
20s?
yeah,
18?
early. Oh yeah.
So
that's right.
there's younger Hercules that starts the Go the Distance song.
Yeah.
But then he later then is more grown Hercules. So how old is that Hercules? The one that we stay with throughout the movie.
Probably
20s?
early 20s. I don't think he'd even be
25 yet.
in his late 20s. I mean, the mid 20s.
Yeah.
So I think he keep it kind of young because most of the time they're supposed to be youngish kids.
Yeah. I guess Dacre could play the younger version of it, but I can also see him playing the final version of Hercules.
Yeah, well, that's what I was saying.
So it really
would play
depends
the
on
final
how.
version.
Oh, I see. Okay,
I don't know. I think you can kind of get him to play the younger version, but I think you're right. He is a better older Hercules.
Roga and I were talking about this yesterday, and for Meg, it was the chat's suggestion, and I immediately was all for it. Team Zendaya for Megara.
Yeah, she can pull off that kind of spicy attitude.
Yeah.
So yeah, and we know she can sing.
She can sing. If The Last Showman didn't show you, some of her other stuff can also show you. As far as
so we still have Hades. Someone in the chat, I can't remember who put it in there.
Somebody really good at like fast talking and kind of like quippy left and right because that's the character.
Yeah, William Dafoe, I think would be kind of fun. Do you think
he could do it? I don't know. It doesn't really fit. I love William Dafoe, but I don't feel like, for me anyways, he's not fitting into. I don't even know exactly who I want. I'm trying to think.
I think. Oh shoot, the original guy who did it, Chris. No,
I don't know.
Hey guys, in the chat, put us down in the put down who originally voiced Hades. I can't remember his name. I can see his face, but I just can't see get his name. What?
Steve Calderon, I love your suggestion. Steve says Keegan Michael Key and Jordan Peele as Pain and Panic.
That would be fun
because them as Bunny and Ducky were hilarious. I need the both. Oh my god, 100%. Ooh.
And James Wood. Okay, so and James Wood.
Well, okay,
kind of. What is it called in this version? Hades is very much kind of like a used car salesman, and James Wood
Pedro Pascal.
Oh, okay.
Why not?
Maybe
he can have fun with it. He can have a lot of fun with it, and he's within the Disney family already.
Oh yeah, true.
So why not? I'm trying to think of who else would be like a good because Hades is really important.
Yeah.
And he needs to kind of play that back and forth. Have those like moments where he, gets enraged because Hercules kept on beating every single creature and obstacle he threw his way, but also needs to kind of, be that devious mischief, not really tricking, but, holding Meg and making her betray Hercules to find his weakness. So I need that.
Leo put in Oscar Isaac for Hades.
Interesting.
I mean, Oscar Isaac is an amazing actor in everything
anything
that he does, and he's done so many different things. So I'm like, okay, I'm pretty sure if you put him in that role, he's going to do an amazing job, and he probably can. We've seen him be able to flip personalities pretty well, so he'd be able to pull it off.
That'd be interesting. Very interesting. So let's see. We've talked about Hercules. We talked about Meg. I don't really see anybody else but Danny DeVito.
Yeah.
Being Phil, sorry.
It's very much that is Danny DeVito's role. He pretty much made it him.
Let's see who else. I think somebody asked about Aphrodite. Aphrodite wasn't
Aphrodite, the goddess of love.
She didn't have too big of a role in the film, but she did have moments.
She had a bigger role in the animated series. Did you ever watch the animated series?
A little bit.
I have to admit, it was a pretty cute show.
Ooh, Ruru2 says Patton Oswalt. For Phil.
That would
I could see that too.
I could see that too.
Huh.
It also depends on which direction they want to take this.
Yes.
How slapsticky they want to take it, how serious do they want to take it. And I'm excited to see this because I'm just very curious to see in what direction they take a new Hercules movie, and I want those songs again. I just love them so much.
Yeah. Mr. Yasman300 says, what if they cast Kevin Hart as Phil? They
That
could
could work.
They could.
You know what? I think that could work too, because he has kind of that.
He's a comedian. You know, the improv is probably already there. Yeah.
Margot Robbie as Aphrodite.
For like a quick cameo.
Uh-huh.
Why not?
Yeah.
Why not? So yeah, those are kind of, you know, our fan casting, and of course we won't really know until we have further. I don't want Kevin Sorbo anywhere in this movie. Sorry, chat. I met him once when I was working at Universal, and it wasn't.
Yeah.
That's a story for another day. It was a quick interaction. But anyways, Mr. Yasmin says, since Guy Ritchie is directing the film, who should Jason Statham play in the film?
Do you think Jason Statham would make a good Hades?
I don't know. But if they were to put Jason Statham in it, I want to see, he's an action guy. And like, what a waste if he didn't get to do any of that. He could be like an opponent for...
Yeah.
You know, they could add new characters. There's a lot of mythology there that they can pull from. They don't have to exactly copy and paste from, you know, the animated film. They can create new characters just like they did for Mulan. They did that for Aladdin. They created sort of a companion for Princess Jasmine.
Yeah.
They had a whole new song for her that Naomi Scott got to sing, which I really, really loved. So I think there's a lot of different ways they can do it. But being in the Greek, I want to see like short sword, cool fights with these mythical creatures, like battle in the sand, kind of a gladiator situation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's why it's really cool that they're teaming with AGBO for this. So there is that. All right, you guys. So that is a little bit of our quick thoughts on Guy Ritchie directing the Hercules live-action movie for Disney. And let's go ahead and move on to... Oh, man, I had this and I never even used it.
Aww.
Oh, well. Let's go ahead and move on to... Now, do we want to do...
I would say let's first tackle Miss Marvel.
Okay.
And then we'll go into Obi-Wan Kenobi. Now, just so everyone knows, this is going to be our spoiler discussion for Miss Marvel and Obi-Wan Kenobi. If you have not seen these yet, we do highly recommend that you kind of duck out for now, because we're going to be talking everything that happens in this show, every little spoiler, every little moment. So if you have not seen it, it will be ruined. It will be spoiled for you.
Yeah, and we don't want to be responsible
and
for spoiling
I would feel so bad.
Yeah.
If we spoiled something really cool, and you're like, no! Pull off your own little Darth Vader impersonation. No!
Okay, so let's talk Miss Marvel. Again, really such a fun show to watch. I am, I know we're only 2 episodes in, but every time I smile when I watch Iman Vellani enter the scene. I love her as Kamala Khan / Miss Marvel. I love her friends like Bruno and Nakia. And what's really cool about this episode is, she's now gotten her power. The Bango obviously had unlocked what is deep inside her. So it's kind of her getting used to having this superpower. And can't imagine what kind of goes through her head. This girl who is such a big fan of the Avengers, of Captain Marvel. She goes to AvengerCon. All of a sudden she's like, wait, I am a superhero. I have powers. And, I get to do like the secret identity thing. And you kind of see her practicing and really trying to understand her power. Like, what is exactly, how does she depict it?
And that whole training montage.
Yeah, that was really cute.
It was like hard light. I think that's what they were saying, right?
Hard light.
Hard light.
But Bruno had asked her, what does it feel like? She said, it feels like an idea come to life.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. So it's almost like how she wills the power and what form it'll take. And we already saw, the stretching arm going out during AvengerCon to catch Zoe. So now, while she's kind of like getting used to this power because it's doing weird things to her, as her nose started glowing, then it encased her hand. But in this episode, we also got to see, just her life as a teenager. Going
crushes.
going to Moscow. Yes, let's talk about the new crush. Let's talk about Karam.
Before we jump into that, though,
okay.
Still sticking with her powers and her training montage that I thought was really cool and just really fun of her just be like, "Yay! Are my new superpowers." I loved the fact too that when Bruno was like had that super duper high tech scan of hers, was like, "Oh, the power's not coming from the bracelet. It's coming from you," which still kind of leaves a little bit of finagling room with them to be still going, okay, she could still be an Inhuman. And thank you very much, for the super chat.
Okay, I'll say Theodore Harris, thank you so much for your super chat. We're going to get to it in 2 seconds.
Glitched. My apologies. But the fact that she could still be an Inhuman, and the bracelet is actually just activating her Inhuman abilities.
Yeah.
So I'm curious on if they're going to still go down the Inhuman road.
I think so. And again, we have 4 more articles to go, so like very, very exciting. But let's talk about Karam.
Yes.
Oh, actually, no. We will get to Theodore's super chat.
Thank you so much, Theodore, for your super chat. We appreciate your support.
Who writes, I know Feige always gets a lot of credit for the success of the MCU, but the unsung hero of Marvel is Sarah Haley Finn, the casting director on most of the Marvel projects. Iman is another perfect casting. I think you're so correct. She is crushing it with the casting, with casting Echo, with casting Haley Steinfeld as Kate Bishop, with Iman, I'm trying to think for some of the other, because I don't know if Sarah does casting for the Star Wars series. I think that might be Carmen.
Oh,
Carmen
maybe.
Cuba. I know Carmen Cuba has also cast for some Disney projects, but I'm not sure because I know Sarah has done a lot. But during the premieres for these Disney Plus shows, obviously the audience sits through the credits, and when Sarah's name comes up in the credits, there's a lot of applause for her. So I don't think it's quite like unsung. It's not as spoken about, but like people definitely know like the casting director's job is so important.
Absolutely. And also something that Sarah really does do is get people who are like their characters. Mm-hmm. She does a really good job on just finding people that embody those characters' heart, mind, and soul. To where, I mean, with Kate Bishop, with Miss Marvel, I think all of these characters all of these actors that are playing these roles, she does a great job of finding someone who's not just able to act like them, but has pretty much a part of that character already a part of who they are.
Yeah, and she's not afraid to go through 50 million submission tapes to find untapped
she will
talent.
Find it. She will find that person.
MK dropping in some other facts here. She did indeed cast for some Star Wars shows like The Book of Boba Fett and The Mandalorian, and she also cast Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Perfect. Yeah.
If you guys have not seen that movie, Everything Everywhere All at Once,
go see it immediately.
Go
Bring
see
tissues. Bring tissues, because the scenes that you don't think will get you. And then you're laughing and crying because they move so quickly between some of the storylines, and you're just like, oh my god, my emotions are everything everywhere all at once. Okay, let's talk about Karam.
Oh yes,
the new crush, new senior who definitely caught many people's eyes, I feel like. Zoe was like, hey, you're new, you want to come to my party? And all of a sudden Kamala's like, we gotta go to that party. Which poor Bruno, I think, is really... And the scene in the car was just so... Like, I get it. He's been crushing on his best friend.
Yeah.
But tried to tread carefully of, like, when do I tell her? Do I not tell her? And, of course, seeing that she's so interested and so attracted to someone else, it's kind of like... Well, what about me? I've been here the whole time. Your family loves me, but he's also afraid of telling her his feelings, and so much so now he's got this great opportunity to go to this early program for Caltech that he is likely to turn down because he's like, well, no, I can't have, like, you know, she can't, I don't want her to forget it, which she wouldn't, but
yeah,
he doesn't want to leave. So, like, I kind of understand that. So Karam is really interesting because she's crushing on him, and the show is making it seem like he's reciprocating, you know, kind of like the crush as well, like driving lessons.
Give me your phone. Here,
Give me your phone. Yeah, and all of this. But at the very end of the episode, so we had this like crazy tinfoil theory that he's older than he looks, and he's like maybe junior agent, like implanted deep cover, but actually working for the DODC. I think by the end of the show, that's definitely like broken. Definitely not. There's no truth in any of that. But his mother.
They actually make that joke. They actually make that joke a couple of times throughout the episode too, where they talk about looking younger than you really are.
Oh, that was a Scott Lang thing, though.
A Scott Lang thing, but they also mention Karamo, not Karamo, not like from Internals, the Kingo, thank you, Kingo, and he's also an Eternal who looks younger than he really is, and not Immortals, not the Eternals, Inhumans. Inhumans live 2 to 3 times longer than a normal human, so they would look younger. And if they were Inhumans, they would have that looking younger. And also, at the very, very end of the episode, we meet his mom,
the same woman who's been in her like weird visions.
Yeah.
So I was waiting for confirmation.
Yes, I'm sorry, yes.
Okay.
Who's been in her visions, who also might be like her great aunt, if it is the same person that they've been talking about through, it's like, what is it called? She's all the Illuminantes. We're talking about all of that, all of the gossip with her about how she's a snake, how she's cursed.
Yeah.
And if that's actually, like she's actually Inhuman,
yeah,
she would look younger than she really is.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And
there could be
also
there.
The fact that they were joking around that he might be her cousin, and he actually might be
like
her cousin
through all these. Yeah, and there was a really important story too about the partition at the dinner table, so it gives you a little bit more of a background on Mom. And the great grandmother and the aunties and Kamala trying to get more information out of Nani, so that was interesting. I low key think that Karam there's ulterior motive there. I think right now it seems like the show's making it seem like it's Team Kamala, but. He's on Team Kamala, but I think it's really he or his mother, maybe doing the bidding of his mother.
I think
so. Wanting to get the bangle or something with her power.
Yeah.
Like I'm not calling him the season baddie, but I think he's gonna be kind of in that gray area for me. Hey, Nikita Francois, thank you so much for the super sticker kilo ice cream cone. Perfect for the hot weather. It's not so bad today.
It's gonna get worse.
It's gonna get worse though. All of next week is like mid to high 90s in the valley, and I'm not here for it at all. Summer has officially started.
Yep. Even though we're still in spring.
Yes. All right. Any other things you want to talk about for Miss Marvel?
I mean, there's also a whole bunch of theories going on that maybe, what's his name? The crush? Karam, thank you. Karam's mom might also be a Skrull. There could be introduction of Skrulls into Miss Marvel.
Because Secret Invasion?
Because of Secret Invasion going on, and they're trying to get the bangle from her. Because it's supposed, if I'm not mistaken, it's supposed to be, it was Skrull, Kree. Okay, so they're trying to get the Kree technology.
Ooh.
Because the bangle actually might be, because that's where the Inhumans come from.
Yeah.
Is their Kree experiment through the mist. And the bangle could be what activates her Inhuman bloodline, and I think this is going to be like the first. It might be like the first adaptation or the first evolution of her powers. That even once, if she has the bangle on for long enough, her powers become permanent, and even if it is removed, she's still able to use her powers. Because it comes from her,
right?
Not from the bangle.
It's been unlocked by the bangle.
Yes.
It's just so interesting because, and this is why I feel like I always want longer or multiple seasons of these Disney Plus shows. And I know that's not what it's meant. That's not what it's about. It's kind of a, just different ways of storytelling before we include everybody into like the movie side of the MCU. But like, there's so much to explore within this series that I can easily watch another season of Miss Marvel. And I'm saying this like when we're only 2 episodes in, but it's so good. Are we okay with?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Debbie just dropped some stuff into our Discord about Karam.
Okay.
Karan.
Sorry.
Kamaran. I'm terrible with names. My apologies. But yeah, there's a lot more information that is dropped. Also, so if you guys want to check out our Discord, we do have a Movie Bunch Discord that you guys can be a part of. We just do ask that if you're going to be a part of this group, that you do give everyone respect. And even if you guys disagree on something, please be like, hey, you know what? This is all subjective on whether or not we like certain things, different movies, different TV shows. You can like it, I can dislike it, but we can still be friends and still be nice and polite to everyone who's in this conversation. So please be nice, be polite, show respect.
And there you go. And we do keep an eye on the chat. So if you guys are being unnecessarily mean, racist, hateful, anything like that towards any of our other members, you're out of there. Okay, let's go ahead and put. Oh, everything wants to slow down when I want to add a link. Great. Okay, here
there we go. It's up there now. So yeah, you can link on that and join all of our nice little chats. But yeah, Debbie dropped an article
I think it's
into our live stream discussions. And yeah, there's a whole bunch of talk going on in there. Go ahead and join the chat. And I don't know, I can't bring up the article right now.
I can do it on my phone.
But we can do that later.
Okay, so real quick for this, and then we'll move on to Obi-Wan Kenobi. It just takes a second to load.
Do you want to join the chat too, Navi? Do you want to be a part of our Discord and see everybody?
We haven't been picking up Navi too much because the last couple of times we did, she kind of yelps a little bit. So, but I feel like
has she been? We're gonna have to put your shirt back on. She's been scratching and rubbing on against the floor, against this one spot. So when we are done here, Navi, you're putting your shirt back on.
Yeah, Navi. All right. So who is Karan? Is he an Inhuman? And according to comingsoon.net, and this is again dropped in Discord by Movie Bunch Debbie, it says here in the comics, Karan, potential spoilers for upcoming episodes. So if you guys don't want to know, you want to keep it a secret, maybe mute us for like the next 60 seconds, and I'll just do the headlines real quick. So you've been warned in 3, 2, 1. In the comics, Karan becomes an Inhuman due to the Terrigen mist, the mutagenetic substance that can alter human biology. And after that, his body starts emitting glowing bioluminescent and biokinetic energy. When he channels his energy, he can cause objects to explode.
So very much kind of like Gambit, but he also, in the comics, he does actually turn a blue color. Mm-hmm. And if you actually look at a lot of the comparisons, he is very often lit in blue light, whereas Kamala is lit in purple light. Even in that dream sequence when they are like, he gets back home, Kamala gets back home, and she's kind of like daydreaming of him.
It's purple.
She's purple, he's blue.
That's interesting. That's quite interesting.
So I'm just very curious. They're dropping all of these hints. It could just be fan service to the original source material, and then they're going to go in their own direction.
Yes.
But it'd also be, it could also just be the fact that that's their hint. Hey, we're going to go in this direction.
Yeah, and again, we don't know. These are theories, so they obviously can take license to what they want to do with Karam. So, those are some of the things that are kind of out there on the internet, and as well as our theories for Quran, and that is it. Spoilers over. So I don't know how people can. Yeah, that's it. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on to Obi-Wan Kenobi. We're on episode 5 now. And this is my favorite in the series so far.
Yes, I do have to admit this is my favorite episode in the series so far. We still got one more though. One more episode.
One more week of the double reaction.
Wrapped together.
Yeah. So this one, pleasantly surprised because they opened with a flashback. And that is Jedi Master Kenobi and Padawan Anakin Skywalker. And I say Padawan because he's still got the braid.
Yep. So this is then
pre-Clone Wars.
Pre-Attack of the Clones.
Yes.
Because after, we also know that at the end of Attack of the Clones, spoiler if you haven't seen it, but Anakin no longer has an arm, so he would have his robotic arm.
I just wasn't expecting that long of a flashback and that far, like, back of a flashback.
Yeah.
I thought I'm still holding a hope, maybe. I was hoping for, like, a Clone Wars flashback, because I want to see, like, them in their, like, armor and, like, cool outfits. But this was great, to see the lightsaber duel between Obi-Wan and Anakin, and how that, it's Darth Vader thinking back to that time as he chases as he hunts Obi-Wan Kenobi. What a great episode. And we also got to find out more about Riva, which a lot of you guys have said it in the chat and in the comment section of the reaction videos. You've been correct about her being potentially one of the younglings that was at the Jedi Temple as they executed Order 66. And as you can see in her own confession and flashback, she indeed was one of those younglings. So her becoming a third sister wasn't because she decided to fall to the dark side, but she had a whole other motivation.
Yeah.
And that is to get close to Darth Vader. And what better way to get close to Darth Vader
than to become an Inquisitor?
Yeah. Unfortunately, he saw through all of that.
He immediately knew from the beginning that, yeah, he was a youngling. But I do have to admit,
she was a youngling.
That's what I meant, that she was a youngling. There was that moment, though, to where in episode 4, when Obi-Wan goes into that one room and had all of the dead Jedi, and you saw that one youngling. When they cut back to it on this episode, it's the same kid. So one of the kids that was Riva's friends in
I wonder if she's aware of that's there. She's gotta be, right?
I'm pretty sure she knows that her friend is dead down in that room.
And I think that's why it shows she has really so much anger towards Darth Vader as well as Kenobi, because she kind of gave him why weren't you there? Why didn't you do anything? And if you think about it, he like literally just, I mean, they all ran, but like not many, her thinking is, you're a Jedi Master, you're Obi-Wan Kenobi, and you didn't. So I understand where she's coming from as well, especially as a child. Everything you knew, all of your friends, and just gone in a flash. So that lends us to her lightsaber battle with Vader, who literally didn't bother to draw his own lightsaber.
That, honestly, thought I loved that fight between Riva and Darth Vader. I thought it just showed just how powerful he is, and the fact that you're right, he never used his own lightsaber. Nope. And the entire time, it's like, you're not even worth me drawing my lightsaber. I will defeat you with your own weapon. Yes. And when we used to do some fight choreography, that was actually something that I loved putting into a fight, to where there would be someone who is disarmed. Yes. And they go up against an opponent that has weapons, and they ended up taking their weapon
with their own weapon.
And you kill them with their own weapon.
Yes.
Which is exactly what happened, and I loved seeing that fight. I honestly wish, though, that there was a little bit more of that in the Obi-Wan Vader fight, to where it's Vader just showing Obi-Wan how much more powerful he is, and how much Obi-Wan has fallen.
I think that's going to be finale.
Yeah.
If we get anything like that, it's going to be finale. But I think the fight between Riva and Vader needed to happen, because now it gives her, and again, like, I think it's a pretty significant injury, in a way where they almost, it seems like they left her for dead, like they're just kind of like, we don't have to worry about her now. But I think her will to survive is strong, and now that she saw on the communicator that message from Bail Grana, she knows about tattooing. She knows the name Owen because she's been to tattooing and she's talked to Owen. So I don't know, she's able to kind of gather enough strength to travel to tattooing, because I don't know what like aircrafts are like left in that area and how she's gonna get there. Well, or maybe they save her for season 2 if they do a season 2.
There is that one that Vader pulled to the ground. I mean, he only pulled out the side of it.
I don't think it's
I guess what she could do is hop onto that and close off like the pilot area.
I don't.
And then try to fly, like try to fly that one out of the system.
I think that's far. It's a bit. He messed up that aircraft. I just don't.
But it was really cool.
Yeah. Oh,
it was so cool how he just grabbed
watching
it.
Vader use the Force, and I was like, yes. It brought me back to was it Ahsoka who did that?
Yeah, Ahsoka
in Clone Wars season 7,
when Darth Maul was trying to escape, and she had to let him go because she needed to save Rex. She needed to save herself.
But just the power, the how, like, one, you're like, there's no other way I can stop him, but I'm gonna use that's incredible. So to see Vader, who we all know is super powerful, do that is just really awesome to see. What else is there to talk about in that? I'm trying to think back to some of our favorite parts of the episode.
This episode really did have a lot of really cool moments in there. So all of the flashbacks with Anakin and Obi-Wan I thought were amazing. Even though I have to admit, Anakin didn't look 18. Because apparently at that time period, he's supposed to be 18.
It's fine.
But, it's one of those things where you're like, it's Hayden. It's good to have them back. It's good to have them fighting.
I thought they did a great job.
I love to see those moments to where they were training.
Yes.
And to see, I wish they would have kind of pushed that narrative a little bit more to where it's his desire and his inability to not try to prove himself that is Anakin's downfall. And trying to prove that I'm better than you. Try to prove that no matter what you do, I'm going to beat you because I'm so powerful. Don't underestimate my power. Or you underestimate my power.
Yeah.
So they kind of put it in there, but I would love to see that that's going to be a big theme in the next episode.
I would like to think the next episode is like 50 minutes at least. Just because I think if they're not giving us another season, then there's a lot to like wrap up, I think. But I really, it just ticked off so many boxes for me. We finally get Reva's origin story, and why she is the way she is, like, in the way she speaks, and her determination to hunt down Obi-Wan Kenobi. And I'm like, I get it. Sort of double cross of like Obi-Wan kind of used her, like she was using him and he was using her, but Vader all knew this all along.
Vader was using her.
Oh my gosh!
And then what is it?
And the actual Grand Inquisitor came back and was like, "Hello, I never left."
Revenge does a great thing for the desire to live.
Incredible episode. I hope the next week's episode is just as good, if not better.
It's kind of what happened in The Princess Bride. You have a nervous sense of vengeance.
Yeah.
It's going to get you into trouble someday.
Debbie here says, the rumor is the episode is really long. Of course they do this when we have double reactions. Which is why, you guys, our Miss Marvel reactions go up so much later. Like, I don't have it in my capacity to do all the things that I am doing on the side, plus live my life, plus do the YouTube thing. Like, I love YouTube, and a lot of our focus, is on the channel, but there's other things that also, like life, like I don't have Dustin here every single day, so I can't film a reaction just at any given moment that I want. There's obligations as adults, and to our other family member. So that's why it went up late. But if you guys wanted to check out our Miss Marvel episode 2 reaction, it is up on the channel now, as well as Obi-Wan, and then Stranger Things episode 2 is also being worked on. It's filmed, I just haven't started the edit on it. I probably will spend a little bit of time today. No, I don't have time today because there's other things that I am also doing. But maybe, I'm hoping I can knock it out tomorrow because it's a Sunday. So Thanks, Sean. Sean says, we understand, Wendy, you good. I appreciate that. Nick says, well, don't live your life, Wendy, and God. You don't get to have a life. You will sit in that chair and you will edit and edit.
What is that? I get that little whip and be like, edit, whoosh, edit.
Armity Collective says, do you think youngling Reva actually got stabbed by Anakin during Order 66? You know the final scene, and they kind of played it in parallel of her flashing back to her youngling self, and right before he, put a lightsaber through her, it made it seem like that way.
Yeah.
And then she said she played dead, so I if she did get stabbed by Anakin then, and she survived, holy crap.
Yeah.
That's really incredible.
And I have to admit, why does it seem like everyone can survive a stab to the stomach with a lightsaber, except for Qui-Gon Jinn? Everyone else.
Dang it!
What is it called? Darth Maul gets cut in half. He survives. Reva gets stabbed in the stomach twice, and it appears that she survives. The Grand Inquisitor stabbed in the stomach with a lightsaber. He gets to survive. Qui-Gon, no, you're dead.
Bring back Qui-Gon!
And, oh my gosh, if they don't bring or do some kind of mention of Qui-Gon Jinn, I'm going to be a little obsessed.
Or the
as a voice or a Force ghost or something.
Yeah.
I want to see that. They've teased it twice so far in this series. I really, really want to see some kind of mention, or I want to hear Qui-Gon's voice.
Yeah, so we'll see. Still kind of holding out hope for that. I'm not going to like the show less if we don't get it, but it would be a nice thing for the fans to see. GFan86 writes, on a side note, did you enjoy Jurassic World Dominion? Still haven't seen it yet. Haven't had the time. Literally have not had the time. Tuesday night, we went to the Magic Castle. Wednesday, we spent some time with you guys on the live stream. I edited Obi-Wan overnight. I think I finished the edit at 5 or 6 a.m. And then later Wednesday, started working on the Miss Marvel episode 2. And then Thursday night, we had a special event that we got invited to at Universal Studios. So then we went to that. And then yesterday, we had lunch with his family, but it was an hour away. So you think you're losing 5 hours of time.
Oh, and then this Sunday, tomorrow is also Father's Day. Right.
So we're not at home. I can't be editing while I'm over at my in-laws while we're celebrating Father's Day. That's a no-no. So that gives you guys, hopefully that gives you a little bit of insight as to why we don't pump out things as quickly as we could, because literally we don't have a team. It's just us. And I say this because I get a little salty. There are a couple of comments on our Miss Marvel, why is this so late?
Life.
Because it is, man. Because it is. That's I don't have really I could not live my life, but I think I would burn out real quick, and this channel would go downhill real fast. It's happened before. So
yeah.
All right.
Some comments that I do want to jump into. One, RMD Collective, thank you also for proving my point. Fennec got shot in the gut, shot in the stomach. She survived. True, barely, because Boba Fett saved her.
Yeah, he hadn't done what he did.
But Obi-Wan was right there. He could have immediately have taken Qui-Gon to a medic droid and been able to save him. And also, Agent VIP. I agree with this. I would love to see a Grogu cameo somewhere. Or if you see somewhere in a flashback after Order 66.
The tiniest
you see,
Grogu?
Well, it would be
smaller.
You would see, someone that looks like a Jedi pushing along Grogu's little what was that called? That little basket.
Oh, the hover
basket that he was in, and you just kind of see that in the background, and that's all you get. So you're just like, oh, I know what that is, and that must have been whatever Jedi that got Grogu out of the temple is still with him. Yeah. But we do know that sooner or later that Jedi does either die or they're separated from Grogu in some way. Yeah. So, and somehow ends up with the pirates that Mando ends up raiding and finding Baby Yoda.
I don't feel like I need to see it. I don't feel like I need to see it exactly.
I would love just to see
cute.
A little bit.
It'd be a cute thing, but I don't have to have it. I think there's other things that I want to that I want to see. But overall, really enjoy both episodes of Miss Marvel and Obi-Wan Kenobi. We got the finale for Obi-Wan Kenobi coming next week, and then episode 3 of Miss Marvel. So I'm like super excited for next week. And editing schedule, again, guys, that's going to be kind of insane because we have an event to go to on Thursday. So that's going to take some time away from, you know, the editing desk, but we'll try very, very hard to like maybe we'll take off a day from the live stream, maybe next Wednesday, so I can actually
just dive into the edits.
Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll keep you guys informed. All right, guys. That is it for us today. Thank you guys so much for being here. We love you. You guys are awesome. If you guys joined Discord today, we will see you there, and we will see you maybe on Wednesday, definitely on Saturday, and of course in future videos as well. So you guys stay well. Stay cool if you're in the States, is when the weather is kind of heating up a little bit. Drink your water, wash your hands, and hug your pets. And have yourself an awesome rest of the weekend. We love you, and we will see you soon. Bye, everyone.